Hey guys, welcome to my garden. Let me show you around. So I am standing on the west side of the house. I have my beautiful and gorgeous hydrangea hedge that I started a few years ago. I have a playlist here on YouTube about everything that I do regarding my hydrangea hedge, how I prune them, when I prune them, how I fertilize them, when I started them, how far they are apart, all of that information. So in order for me not to repeat over and over in each video about how I do things, I will just list all of those videos below. So if you have questions about that, feel free to check those out. And if you still have questions that I may have not answered before on those videos, just let me know in the comments. The hydrangea hedge right now is beautiful. I did fertilize her a little bit in the spring, and I did come here a couple of weeks ago and I did a nice pruning at the bottom, and I am keeping them nice and tidy. I really love this time of year, how they're looking, they're filling in, and they have blooms everywhere, and I am so excited. Hopefully here next month I'll start seeing some flowers pop up here and there, and I am really excited about that. Right towards the front of the hydrangea hedge over there, I have that corner in the property where I have my little statue. I call it my lady. I don't really know her name. I follow another YouTuber and he has the same statue and he calls it my lady, so that's what I'm calling her. Honestly, I absolutely love that statue. I planted some sweet alyssum that I started from seed in some SEDUM this spring, and I think that they are doing very well there. I have been making sure that I water those almost every other day, but honestly it has been raining so much here in central Indiana in the past few weeks that I haven't had the need to water it at all. The sedum is a perennial for me here in my zone 5 in central Indiana. So in the fall, I will take those out and I will put it somewhere in the ground around my garden so that they can come back next year. And I'm almost positive that if I leave that sedum there in that small pot, it will overwinter and then it will come back next year. The roses are actually doing quite well. I haven't treated them or anything. I just gave them a little bit of rose stone from Spoma at the beginning of the spring, and they're doing amazing. They actually have a couple of buds here and there. They're getting ready to do a second blooming, and I absolutely love these English roses. The boxwood hedge needs to be prune. I am going to be doing that here soon. I'm just waiting for a week where we don't have extreme weather, and when I say extreme weather is, you know, temperatures in the upper 90s, so they don't burn after I trim them. They're doing quite well right there where they are. I think that boxwood is one of those plants where you don't really have to worry about much. If you do have disease where you live that can target your boxwoods, I am really sorry. Here in central Indiana, we haven't had any problems with boxwood diseases yet. I know they're around, and I'm just hoping that we don't have to deal with that anytime. This flower bed right here is my no-dig flower bed that I started this year. So all of this here is new. The boxwoods, the obelisk, the brick lining, all of the plants that you see here are annuals, meaning that they're not going to make it through the winter. The only thing that is going to be left here are my boxwoods because they are evergreen. I have a combination of zinnias, starflowers, hyacinth beans, Victoria blue salvias, gladioli, I have dahlias, more salvia, amaranth, lace flower, marigolds, and I think that's it. And a couple of weeds that are popping here and there. But overall, I am really, really happy with how this bed is doing. To be honest, I was a little bit hesitant at the beginning that I started the bed a little too soon, that I didn't give the grass and everything underneath the mulch time to decompose before I started using it, but the plants are not caring about that. I have everything growing just beautiful. My favorite piece in this garden is this obelisk. My husband made it. I have videos about that. I am just so happy with the color that I chose, and it's holding quite well. I have a lot of people, actually a couple of my neighbors asked me where they could find it to buy it, but it's one of a kind. It's not for sale. And my husband is definitely not making this for sale anytime soon. He has a huge honey do list. Let me show you how the plants are doing and some of the things that are happening here so you can have an idea. Let me start by talking about the boxwoods. The boxwoods are doing amazing, you guys. I have these very, very tiny boxwoods that I planted here early in the spring, and they're doing amazing. I don't feel like they're picky. As long as you give them water and fertilizer when you first plant them and you keep on watering them regularly, they will make it. Maybe I might lose one or two in the first winter, but I can just replace those easily. It's not a big problem, but overall I am very happy with how they're looking. I do have zinnias here that I started indoors a couple of weeks earlier before I moved them out here, and I also have some that I direct seeded, and I have something going on with the zinnias. I know the zinnias can get disease, and they're definitely being targeted. These are the only zinnias here that I am having issues with, because everything, all of the other zinnias that I have on other areas in my garden are doing just quite fine. And I honestly never had zinnias doing this for me, so I'm not really sure what to do. Do I just let them be and hope for the best, or do I remove them? I don't know. If you have experience with this, just let me know in the comments what you do. The hyacinth bean vines are just doing amazing over here. I have other hyacinth beans in my huge containers that you will see here in a minute, but I think that these right here in this garden bed are doing better. I have to constantly move the vines around because they do want to crawl around and go wider, but I just kind of take them back and move them around the trellis that I have inside that obelisk, and they seem happy. One of the plants that I am just loving this year so much are my Victoria Blue Salvias. They are doing really well here. They seem to be happy. They're just thriving, and honestly, I don't have to worry about staking them. I feel like they're a little bit tall, but I think that they're just nice and strong plants that I don't have to worry about providing any kind of support. I started these red salvias indoors as well, and I have 3 plants over here, but they look like one. Combined, they make this huge, huge, beautiful spot in the garden. And can you see the gas meter back there? Yeah, me neither. And that's basically what I wanted to do for this area right here. I absolutely hated looking at this gas meter every day I walk here. And right now it's just covered by salvia and gladioli, and the amaranth in the corner are doing amazing as well. Something is eating the leaves. I don't really want to treat any of the plants here. I am going to be cutting a bunch of these to bring inside, so I don't know how to go about this. I'll probably just wait, and if they get worse, I'll probably just treat them with something, but if not, then they're just going to have to do for themselves. Next to the amaranth, I have marigolds. I think they might be white. I am not quite sure, but they are getting ready to bloom. I have a bunch of buds all around the plant, and I might have to come here and sort of control this amaranth a little bit because it does want to push out. So I might have to stake some sort of bamboo here to help it a little bit so my marigolds don't get killed. But this flower right here, you guys, oh my gosh. This is my lace flower that I started from seed, and it has these beautiful petite, barely pink flowers, and I absolutely love them. I have another one back there, another plant, but obviously it's way too close to the amaranth. But I did come here and I cut some blooms from the other one for a flower arrangement that I'll show you here in a few days. And these flowers are just one of my favorites. I got the seeds from Floret and I started them indoors, and I feel like they took a little bit to go, and I wasn't sure how they were going to do, but my goodness, now that I see the flowers and I can admire them, you know, one-on-one, I am definitely going to be starting a bunch of this next year. I only started like 4 or 6 of them because I wasn't sure how I was going to like them, but my goodness, they are amazing. I have some dahlias and some gladioli over here next to the window. The dahlias seem to be doing better. I know in the last video where I show you this flower bed, this no-dig flower bed, I mentioned that they were struggling and I wasn't sure, but they seem to be doing better. Whatever it was that was targeting them, it's gone. I don't know if it was just too much water or some sort of bug or something to do with the tubers, I don't know. But I just left them alone and they seem to be doing quite well. The gladioli that I have here, it's starting to show the buds of the flowers to come. The scarlet straw flowers that I have growing here, I started them from seed as well, and they're doing okay. They don't seem to be thriving. Actually, one of the plants looks like it's kind of dying. I don't know. I have straw flowers on another parts of my garden and they're doing quite well, a lot better than this here. But I am not giving up on them just yet. I'm just going to let them be and see how they do. And I am definitely taking notes for next year. Some of the plants might not like this part right here, and that's okay. So my hydrangea hedge is on this side, my no-dig flower garden bed is over here next to the house, and next I have what I call my retainer wall garden bed. I absolutely just love how this whole area came out to be. A lot of the plants on this retainer wall are basically the same. I have my gorgeous geraniums over here. I have geums, the red geums that you saw blooming, and I have 2 different types of coleus. My main plant over here for this cattle piano wall are these honeysuckles that I have. I absolutely love them. They did amazing. They bloomed earlier in the spring. The fragrance was just intoxicating, and I absolutely adore these honeysuckles. My nasturtiums seem to be struggling a little bit here, but that's okay. And my poor dusty millers that I started from seed are just being eaten by all of the other plants over here. My geraniums definitely need to be trimmed about this time of the year. I already did this. I took so much of it because they were just conquering this whole area, and I absolutely love this plant because it's hardy, it's not picky, it doesn't take much. As long as you trim it here and there, it doesn't really ask much of you. I am absolutely loving this little corner right here. I have dahlias growing over there. You saw me when I planted this whole retaining wall a couple of months ago. I have my shrub, my plum shrub that I call it. It's invaded by Japanese beetles, and that happens. I am trying to deal with them with soapy water in the morning. I come here and I try to get as many as I can, but you know, it takes a long time. But right over here, I have these gorgeous cosmos that I started from seed. I lost the name of the cosmos, so I'm not really sure what color they are, but it doesn't matter. White, pink, purple, I don't care. They're going to look amazing here. They're already looking amazing with this texture. And I have nasturtiums, dusty miller, and my beautiful sweet alyssum. Overall, I think that this bed is looking a little wild and there is so much to see, but it's kind of contained in the retaining wall. So I am going to finish this video right over here, telling you what I have over here. Remember, we're still on the west side of the house. Right about here is where my back porch ends. And then we come towards the north side of the house, the backyard. And these huge planters are absolutely gorgeous, you guys. They just exploded to the point where I have to kind of walk over here like sideways. Otherwise, I'm just going to be crushing the plants that I have over here on the side. The cages that I made, absolutely beautiful. These are the hyacinth bean vines that I told you that were struggling for a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. I have only fertilized them twice. Everything else looks amazing, looks like it's thriving, but these guys, see, some of the leaves are just falling off. They have plenty of water, so I am not really sure what's going on. The new growth, I have new growth, and everything is just kind of falling apart. I am not really stressing about this. If it dies, it dies. It is what it is. This one over here on the other side, it seems to be doing better. It's not doing great, but it seems to be doing better. I really don't know what is going on, but it's fine. I have a hydrangea, limelight hydrangea here, and I cannot wait when it blooms here next month. These Shasta daisies are absolutely wanting to take over. I divided them already at the beginning of the spring. I took about 4 cuttings. I left like a little tiny thing in there, and they're still looking glorious and full and beautiful. I love them. If you're in central Indiana and next year if you want some Shasta daisies, let me know, because I'll be cutting this thing in like 5 pieces. Let me show you a close-up and let me show you what I have in the planters. You can't even see the planter here. It's right there. I have this salvia that is looking so great. I didn't think that it was going to make it with everything that is going on here, but it's looking glorious. The coleus is starting to flower. I am not the biggest fan of blooms in coleus, so what I do is just basically come here and I just take this and they become food for the soil next door. I have the hyacinth bean vine. I have nasturtiums. Remember, these nasturtiums were mislabeled. I don't know if I got the wrong seeds or I put the wrong tags on them when I started them indoors. But these were supposed to be pink. These were supposed to go nicely with all of the other purples and pinks that I had here. But I messed up, and these are the trailing nasturtiums, which are looking amazing. The blooms, honestly, they're a little too wild for me, but from far away, you just see this gorgeous pop of orange, and I love them. I absolutely love them. I have some sweet potato vine here that is kind of getting mixed in with everything else. I also have some Super Bowls, I believe, and a petunia. They're not doing that great, and it's okay. There's so much going on here that it's okay if some of them just don't make it, because there is so much that wants to thrive here, and there is so little space, even though the planters are huge. And basically the other planter is the same thing. But as we move a little bit to the side, let me show you the hardy hibiscus that are getting ready to bloom, you guys. They have so many buds on them. They look absolutely gorgeous. I love the color of the foliage. I have two types here. This big one is Holy Grail, and the other one, I can't remember. I'm just gonna have to wait until it blooms, but I have two here, and this one over here is the biggest one, and it's going crazy, you guys. So that is it for this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that maybe you got inspired in doing something in your own garden. If you do, please let me know in the comments. And would you do me a favor? I have a goal for this year that I want to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Will you help me on doing that? Maybe share the video with somebody that you know might like it, or just give it a like and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate you being here, and until the next video. Oh my gosh, get away. Lance, there is a bee.